What's the best screen protection for your Apple Watch? That's a good question to ask. It's a tough question to answer, and there are no good answers to that question, but here's what I've figured out. The best thing you can do for your Apple Watch screen while maintaining the general look and feel of your tiny wrist computer is to use a liquid screen protector. It will offer a minimal amount of scratch protection, a tiny amount of extra impact protection, and really the only pro is that you can use it across other devices if you wanted to. Now, if you want more protection and you want to cheapen the look of your Apple Watch, you could go with a plastic screen protector. You could take a chance with one of those cheap glass screen protectors from Amazon, but the ones that I got don't fit very well, and there were other ones that were just very poorly made. I honestly would rather let my Apple Watch go naked than cheapen the look of it. Now, you can circumvent all the screen protection nonsense by actually getting a case for your Apple Watch, as it might prevent the edge of your iPhone from getting scratched, but honestly, good luck trying to find one for the Series 4, because all the case manufacturers that I've been using previously aren't making anything for the Series 4. Now, as I said before, it's a tough question to answer because there are no good brands out there that make, good screen protectors. I have companies like Belkin that used to make them, but they don't make them for the Series 4 anymore, so trying to come up with products for this video has been incredibly tough because I've had to rely on Amazon. And I had to deal with brands called The Lynch, LK, JetTech, and Koosia? Like, how do you even pronounce that? Where's the U behind the Q? Koosia? Koosia? So in the next few minutes, I'm going to cover over the pros and cons for plastic glass cases, and then explain why liquid is better than everything else, and actually just letting your Apple Watch go naked is actually probably the best solution. But I wouldn't feel right saying that if I didn't go through all the other details first. At MobileReviewsEh, Monty and I base all our videos on actual usage, and this video on screen protectors has literally been the accumulation of beating up my Apple Watches for the last 4 years. My most beat up Apple Watch is actually the Series 3. Other than the one that I broke in my drop test for the Series 4, but that came back and now it looks fine. The funny thing is that the Series 3, despite being beat up, it actually wasn't beat up on my hand. It was, well, it's a funny story. I'll explain at the end. When it comes to plastic screen protectors for the Apple Watch, they will offer the most protection in my opinion. They generally hide small scratches well, and they usually come in multiples. Like this package comes in 6, I think. When it comes to cons, they're hard to install. Well, with plastic screen protectors, you always have bubbling issues to deal with. Most of the plastic screen protectors that I've seen are made from a TPU film. Depending on the film that you get, some will only cover the face while others will cover the edges, but not the corners. Now, from a day-to-day protection standpoint, the exposed corners won't be an issue from my experience, but it's weird to, look at. If I was to recommend a product, it would probably be the one from LK, which is a product that requires a wet install. It provided the best install and user experience. But let me clarify, that LK brand is the best screen protector, plastic one that I've used, but again, it's not great. Like, I've been using this one for a couple of weeks now. It actually got caught on something, I think, when I was like my shirt or my jacket, and it's just so grody looking. It's starting to peel, and again, nothing like making your iPhone look incredibly cheap with a piece of plastic. Oh, the screen looks so nice, and this thing is just so grody. One of the issues with film type screen protectors is that it may not work well with certain Apple Watch cases. There is a bit of overlap with the case, which may result in minor bubbling, which will cheapen the look of your Apple Watch even more. The easy solution to that problem is just don't use a case. Every TPU film that I've used has cheapened the look and feel of my Apple Watch. Like, I personally like the smooth surface of the glass screen on my Apple devices, and having a piece of plastic really takes away from the device. Now, if you don't believe me, go get some plastic wrap your watch in it, and then practice swiping and tapping on that. That's what it's going to feel like, and it's pretty awful. Now, if there was a wish list, I'd want companies like Evolutive Labs to make a screen protector for the Apple Watch because their plastic screen protectors feel quite close to glass, which is what we'll talk about next. When it comes to glass screen protectors, well, glass just generally offers better clarity than plastic screen protectors, and they feel smooth. Now, when it comes to cons, they cover the least amount of space on your device. Certain screen protectors will leave a gap along the edge because, well, it's a badly made product. I was extremely underwhelmed by glass screen protectors, as The ones I got, none of them really fit the iPhone screen well. Most products were marketed for multi-devices, so the manufacturer, honestly, I don't think took the effort to check to see if the product actually worked. Like, for example, this CheckDeck screen protector, in the photo, it shows it being compatible with Fitbit devices, which, you know, is awesome because Fitbit has completely flat screens on their devices, whereas in the Apple Watch, well, it has a curved screen. So JetTech's product actually doesn't have enough adhesive to fit on a curved screen of an Apple Watch. So yeah, don't waste your money on that. And if that doesn't convince you enough, you can easily take your finger and just chip the edges of the glass, which is great. Nice way to literally burn money. Now, certain companies will try to include a plastic rim around the glass, which helps with the look of the product, but the glass is still incredibly cheap, will chip easily, and has incredibly poor oleophobic coatings. And so once it cracks, well, like anything glass, it just looks awful. And speaking of awful, let's talk about cases for the Apple Watch. When it comes to cases, a pro would be, well, it changes the look of your watch. You know, if you want to be a little different, it's the only product that will offer true edge protection. So if you're a chronic wall slammer with your Apple Watch, then maybe get a case. The cons is that some of them come with plastic screen protectors, and again, plastic screen protectors aren't great. Certain designs will come off easily off your Apple Watch. The moment you bump it, the thing will just come flying off. And in general, all the products that I've used are kind of ugly. Honestly, cases really take away from the design and look of the Apple Watch. Like for me personally, I generally have no issue covering up my iPhones, but when it comes to my Apple Watch, I try to keep it naked. But cases are really the only way you're going to be able to protect the edges of your Apple Watch from being scuffed up. There's a caveat to that because that only occurs if you can actually keep the case on your device. As I said earlier, they pop off quite easily. Certain products like the Speakin' Tough Armor for the Apple Watch will include a screen protector, but again, it's plastic and stuff like that there's no adhesive that sticks to the face of the Apple Watch, so stuff gets caught between the screen protector and the watch, and over time will scuff up your Apple Watch, which sucks. Now, honestly, getting a case for your Apple Watch should literally be the last thing you should consider when it comes to screen protection, and most manufacturers have figured out this low need for cases for the Apple Watch because none of the manufacturers for my preferred cases for the Series 1 to 3 exist for the Series 4. So if you're finding this video useful, considering getting your Apple Watch screen protection through my Amazon links, or don't, because you should really just be letting your Apple Watch go naked. So in that instance, you should just get your anything from Amazon through my links, because that just helps me out as well. Now, what we need is a product that provides a bit of, something and isn't constrained by the shape of the device. What could that be? A liquid screen protector. The pros is that, well, liquid screen protectors are not noticeable. The cons is that, well, they offer minimal amount of protection, and they're generally expensive for what you're getting. Now, despite being my preferred product in this video, I'm not 100% sold on liquid screen protectors for the Apple Watch. It is the best solution, but definitely not a great solution. There's a lot of marketing fluff that goes with liquid screen protectors, such as improved impact resistance, scratch resistance, and oleophobic coating improvements. Out of those three things, I was only able to prove that liquid screen protectors improve the impact resistance of the glass that it is applied to. If you need all the details about liquid screen protectors, do check out that video. It technically will improve scratch resistance as you are adding a thin layer of glass to the device, but here's the thing. Once you scratch it, you can't take it off or replace it, which means it's physically, your Apple Watch has been physically damaged, like the screen. The liquid screen protector goes on, it's part of your screen has become damaged. For the oleophobic claim, well, it did make my older devices feel smoother, but water didn't roll off of them like it's supposed to. Smoothness, if you value the smoothness of your newer devices and you want that feeling on your older devices, then yeah, the liquid screen protector works great. Now, from my perspective, the final kick to the face is that these products are expensive. They run around $30 per pack, with the only upside is that you can apply one of those wet wipes in the package to 3 to 4 devices. So you could just smear it on everything like butter and bagels. Now again, it is better than nothing, but not by much. And speaking of nothing, let's just let your Apple Watch be. Don't put anything on it. The pros for just letting it be is that it's free. Well, free if you consider that your Apple Watch, if you don't take into account the cost of your Apple Watch. The pro is that, well, there's no protection. So when it comes to letting your, Apple Watch go au naturel, the first question I have for you, if you're thinking about getting a screen protector, is that, well, did you need a screen protector for your traditional watch? I honestly might be the first person in the world to ask that question online. I don't know, but that just seems, when I was writing the script, that just seemed like a really weird question to ask. Now, I know when it comes to our devices, it's almost like a natural urge to go and find something to protect our shiny new gadgets. But here's the thing, how beat up have your previous watches actually been? Think about it. Now, between the original Apple Watch Series 2 and 3, the most beat up device is actually the Series 3. There's a big scratch on the front that couldn't be filled in by a liquid screen protector, and one of the corners on the device is dented. Now, none of this damage actually occurred while the device was actually on my arm. It happened when I took it off, I went to bed, and the silent alarm that I set vibrated it off my bathroom counter and onto tile floor. And that made me so very sad. But I'm over it because, well, I still wore it for 4 months after that, and it didn't really bother me that I had a scuff and a scratch on it. My oldest Apple Watches, this original Apple Watch and the Series 2, despite being worn every day for almost a year, have no noticeable scratches on them. And I honestly bang my wrist on a wall on a daily basis. If you're really worried about the screen protection, like I'm not a terribly clumsy person, but these two devices, being the oldest Apple Watches that I have, look pretty good. Now, I know I'm not offering any solace to people who absolutely hate seeing scratches on their devices, but if I had to choose between cheapening the look of my device or using my device with a tiny scratch on it, I choose the latter. But really, that's just me. Oh, what a tough video. This was a terrible video to make because it was just... I can really honestly recommend none of these things. Like, it's so awful.